What's going on, everybody? This last week to week and a half has been one of the craziest sports times in a while that we've seen. From college basketball's March Madness to MLB signings and trades, to NFL free agency and craziness there to trade deadline in the NHL. So we're excited to break it all down today and kind of go over it with you guys. Colin and Zach are here as always. You guys doing good?
Doing good.
Yeah,
It's my spring break,
doing good.
and I am in tropical Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah,
It is beautiful down here. The high is like 44. I had to wear sweats for the first time in a couple weeks, so it's been nice though. I've literally done nothing. No, I haven't even looked at school. It's been awesome.
Yep, I'm flying pretty high. Had a good. I went and got coffee with a friend this morning. Had a good time. Got dome. What are you laughing at, Zach? And then I have dome dance tomorrow, which is like once a year a dorm wins all the year, and so this I'm postponed. We didn't have it last year because COVID. So now we get it this year. I'm really excited for that. And then I'm going to some random formal on Saturday, which I told you guys about that. I'm like kind of excited, a little bit like this is going to be super weird, but we'll see. I think I can make it fun for sure.
You're only a senior
So,
once.
got a haircut. I was working yesterday and the custodian came in, a sweet little lady, and she's like, "Ooh, you look good." She's like, "Who gave you that fresh cut?" And I was like, "Okay." Yeah, I was smiling. I was cheesing. But yeah, she's super sweet and feeling good. Feeling good, boys.
you guys got like your last couple weeks of school here. I still got another year, but you guys are
Yeah, I got
about
like
to
a
wrap
month after
it up.
spring break.
Yep. Made
Wow.
made a bucket list for all the things I want to do for before I graduate. So gonna try to knock them out in these next few weeks.
You guys excited for it?
Nope.
Excited
Don't
to
want
be
to
done?
leave. Absolutely not.
I'm excited to be able to make money, not
Well,
like have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
Be responsible for a lot of stuff.
yeah, I'm
Did it
excited
feel,
to make money, but I'm not excited to have responsibilities. So
did it feel like it went fast for you guys?
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, we
especially
also
with COVID.
yeah, I was gonna say we basically lost 2 years. So
Like just recently we haven't had no masks in class, like probably for like a couple weeks, and that's the first time it's been normal since the beginning of spring semester sophomore year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
yeah.
crazy.
Well, you guys want to go right into it with our Did You See It's of the week?
Yeah, sure.
I'll go
Yeah.
last on I'll go last on mine because I'm going to transition here. But so you guys get it started.
All right, I'll
Zach, go
go.
first because I actually did not have one. Because normally, I told you guys this before we hopped on, but normally, anytime I see something that's interesting, I send it to you guys right away. So,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my did you see it? I was gonna send it to you guys, but then I was like, if I do that, then you guys would have saw it. So it kind of defeats the purpose. But I did send it to you guys right before we started so you could watch the video. And it's a video of these guys. It's a frat house, and there's a rock in their front lawn. And they spent like the whole day just trying to move it. Like one guy comes out with just like no shirt on, like a bathrobe, and he like walks out there and tries to lift it up, doesn't. And then it takes like 15 of them, and they use this rope, and they finally get it pulled up, and they're like going crazy. They're like celebrating, and then they're all taking pictures of themselves and posting themselves on like the rock, like Captain Morgan with their like one leg up on there, like holding the beer. It was hilarious. I died
I'm literally
laughing.
watching it right now.
I know
that you
guys
sent
are the
it.
best. Just guys being dudes.
These guys being dudes. That is the best. Oh, there's a lot of them. I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Let's see. I'm thinking. I got nothing right now. So, I saw this Ryan Reynolds commercial for Kraft mac and cheese that was hilarious. I'll send it to you
I
guys.
couldn't imagine him on Kraft mac and cheese.
I mean, neither.
All right. I just sent it to you guys. You'll have to listen to it. So I don't know if you want to listen to it later or what, but
Okay.
there it is. Sorry to our
What was
listeners. You guys can. It's basically a little kid doing a Kraft mac and cheese commercial, and he's saying like just outrageous lines, and he can't get the line out that he's supposed to say. And the
Yeah.
producer's like, "What is going on?" And Ryan Reynolds pops in. He's like, "That's my fault." He plays a child version of me in one of one of these upcoming movies. So,
Oh, that's funny.
I had nothing this week. So I just put down the craziness that is March Madness. So I'm going to use that to transition to our first topic today. Any games that stood out to you guys? Because right off the bat, for me, it's obviously St. Peter's kind of ruining every single person's bracket. Beating Kentucky and then beating Murray State. So I guess start there and then throw out any games that you guys thought were stood out to you this week.
Yeah, that St. Peter's game was pretty fun to watch. I watched like the first half, and then I went and did something, and then I had like multiple TVs set up in our living room in Clemson, so I was like flipping through all the channels. So once I got back, it was like in the second half and close. But after watching the beginning, it just seemed like both teams were playing super fast, and it was just back and forth. And watching that game, and kudos to St. Peter's for taking down Kentucky, who's supposed to be like a title favorite with Sheboy, one who could be the player of the year. So sucks for Kentucky fans.
Yeah, it does. Well, I think
Calipari's on the hot
last
seat?
week. No, I think I told you guys this last week, but I said I thought Kentucky was overrated. I watched them play Notre Dame earlier this year. I watched another one of their games. Sorry, I'm plugging it in my computer. So, all right, we're back. Okay, so
Back in
I told you guys that earlier, or last week when we were going through the bracket. I'm like, I think Murray State beats them in the second round. Granted, St. Peter's came out of both of those games, but no, I watched that game against the first round game, Kentucky St. Peter's. It's a really good game. Very excited. St. Peter's won. My bracket had no chance, anyways. Like it never
same.
does.
Me and Colin are done.
I always just root for like chaos, right?
Me too.
So yeah, I mean, I picked Tennessee because I just watched them play. I thought they looked really good. And then,
Same.
But yeah, I'm very happy St. Peter's won.
Have you guys?
Go ahead.
Oh, have you guys seen the other guys with Will Ferrell, Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
And all the GIF they posted of Mark Wahlberg, it's like, I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly.
Oh yeah.
But
It's a great movie.
they spend. Did you see their basketball arena too?
Yes, I was going to talk about that.
It's worse than our high school arena.
Really?
Kentucky spends 13 times as much per year on basketball as St. Peter's, and that's like on the book stuff. So
yeah, not like the under the deal, under the table.
It was like the biggest financial upset in tournament history.
That's awesome.
They had games canceled this year for flooding. That happened. Their coach's office, their head coach, his office was flooded because it's directly under the school pool. Like just crazy stuff.
That does not seem smart to put stuff underneath a pool.
Yeah.
But his coach actually played for Seton Hall and upset Kentucky when he played, right? Or he upset someone when he played.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've just seen interviews with him, and obviously I've seen him like on the sidelines, but his interviews are like amazing. He's like a funny guy. But no, that was one of those games where I had Kentucky in the Final Four. You guys had him in the championship, correct?
I did. Conlon had him losing to Murray State in the next round.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think I chickened out of actually putting that on my bracket I submitted for like our podcast pool. So
yeah.
Classic.
It was one of those that I knew it would ruin my bracket. Not ruin it because I still have my championship, but one of my Final Four. But I was still cheering for. I mean, how can you not cheer for St. Peter's in that situation?
It's not like I really like Kentucky that much.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm going to be cheering against them against Purdue, and I like Purdue.
I'm cheering for Purdue. I like Purdue. I like Jaden
really?
Ivey.
Yeah, he's fun, man.
I almost went to Purdue, so I kind of like Purdue. So
another one that's like really making us look bad is our Michigan take. We all agreed that Michigan should not be in the tournament.
They still shouldn't.
And I think I agree with you there. They got a really favorable matchup against Colorado State to start off. Then they just played really well against Tennessee.
They should have been a first four, like a last four in.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And we talked about it briefly last week, but Tennessee got hosed. They should have been a 2 seed for one.
Yes.
And then they got Michigan, who granted has not put the pieces together all year, but they get hot against Colorado State and Tennessee. And I mean, they have the potential to be one of the best teams in the country. They just haven't put it together. And you don't put a team in the tournament because they have a chance to be good. You put them in based on the body
because they earned it.
have. and they didn't earn it at all.
Well, does Michigan, can they do anything that would change your guys' minds? I'm with you guys. I agree. But is there anything that Michigan, like, if Michigan beats Villanova, will we all be like, well, I guess is there anything they have to do?
I don't know. Does Villanova even have a big guy? I feel like they're
No,
not that big.
I know they're not. Yeah, they go Gillespie and there's a couple other like wing players they have, but nobody that can match up with Dickinson.
For some reason, I just don't like Dickinson. He's just one of those guys I just look at him and I'm like,
he's a
I
tool,
don't.
man.
Yeah.
But,
he's one of those players that's only going to be good in college.
Oh, totally. And I'm going to talk about Gonzaga in a second, but Drew Timmy's another guy, and I love Gonzaga, but I don't like Drew Timme because all of his like corny stuff he does.
Oh my!
But he's not gonna. I mean, obviously he's not going to be an NBA player, but he's going to be one of those amazing college players that we think about. And one name that popped off my head earlier when I was thinking about it was Jimmer Fredette. Jimmer's another one that dominated college and got drafted in the top 10 picks, and then obviously
Jimmer Fredette, arguably the best college basketball player ever.
Seriously, that dude could just let
or at least
fly.
Most exciting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other. Oh, another. I think the game of the week for me was Arizona TCU. It was the last one to make the Sweet 16.
Where the TCU they should have called a foul.
Yep. So whenever it happened live, I was like, I understand not calling it. First of all, I was freaking out. And my mom, who doesn't follow sports whatsoever, picked TCU to win it all because of Texas Christian University.
Oh, yeah. I remember that last year. She picked Texas Abilene Christian to win it all.
Yeah. So she was actually really involved with the game and watching it pretty intently. So for the people that didn't see it, he was like coming across half court, got bumped a little bit, lost the ball. There was like 3 seconds left. Terry picked it up for Arizona, went to the rim, laid it in at the buzzer, but was late. I guess
he tried to dunk it.
Yeah, he could have gotten that thing off if he went another direction with it or finger rolled it, whatever. But they didn't count it. They went to overtime. Arizona ended up winning. But no, the back and forth the whole game. It had the dunk of the tournament. Benedict Mathurin
that was
just threw that thing down. He had a clutch shot at the end. TCU was battling the whole way. It was just one of those games that just went back and forth, and I thought TCU was going to pull it out.
I still haven't watched Arizona play because I think both their games were really late at night, and I didn't watch their first one because they were kind of blowing them out. But I looked at the box score of Arizona TCU, and they have that Mathurin guy and Koloko.
Yeah, he's a monster.
They have like a good like guard and a good big guy, which is pretty good. But I don't know, is there like defense good? Because they gave up 70 points to Wright State and 80 to TCU.
Yeah, they've struggled defensively for sure. But Koloko is a lot like, again, I didn't watch. I watched one Arizona game this year. That was against Colorado when Colorado beat them. Of course, that's like the one game they lost. So I was like, well, they're not that good. But Koloko is a lot like Kofi Coburn. I get a lot of similarities from him for Illinois. But Benedict Mathurin, like the dude is literally just carrying them. That whole overtime, he carried them.
Crazy.
And they play. Who do they play next?
They play. I got the schedule. They play tonight at
They play Houston.
8:59. Sorry, my computer, because I'm in Central Time. It's on Central. I mean, everything's still Eastern on my computer, so it kind of throws me for a loop.
Yeah. So the slate tonight is Arkansas Gonzaga at 6 Central, Michigan Villanova at 6:30 Central, Texas Tech against Duke.
I'm excited for that game.
I think it's going to be good.
I'm excited for too.
Yeah.
Coach K's last game.
Arizona.
Calling it.
You think Texas Tech?
Yeah,
I got Tech.
They're more experienced. I don't know.
They are.
I also just think they're a better team.
They are.
And I kind of want Coach K not.
Granted, we should have beat them last week.
Exactly. I was just about to get into
that game?
I watched the whole thing. I wanted you to like talk about it.
I did not watch it. I was rooting for Texas Tech. I always root against Notre Dame.
No, I thought you guys had that one.
I mean, we should have. We had the lead with about 2.5 minutes left. I think we were up 3. We got fouled. We missed the front end of a 1-and-1. They come back down and I think tie it. And then we go down and our freshman who's a really good player, he struggled big time in the NCAA tournament. He struggled big time in the ACC tournament.
Wesley?
lots of turnovers, like out of control, going to the rim. Can't finish at the rim. He shot like 33% in the from the start of the ACC tournament. Just horrible, like missing wide open layups. So it's really frustrating. But we still had a chance to win. And then I guess with like 20 seconds left, it's a 5-point game. There might have been a little more time than that. It's a 5-point game. And our big man, Paul Atkinson, was going up for a layup and just gets smacked in the head twice. And they didn't call it. Mm-hmm. So, and then they went the other way for a dunk. So in reality, I think we ended up losing by like 9, but it was a 3-point game with like half a minute left. It should have been a like 5-point game with us shooting 2 free throws with about 30 seconds left. So, I mean, and then they called an intentional foul earlier in the game on a tiny little jersey pull, which is just like, guys, come on. It was
let the boys play.
Yeah, and especially because he fouled him before he pulled his jersey. So he should have called the foul before he pulled the jersey. And so it was pretty much just a mess. And yeah, we just choked. Like, we gave the ball to our freshman point guard, like Wesley, like 4 possessions in a row. And he got to the rim every time. Mm-hmm. He would either get blocked, take a bad shot, turn it over, like miss a layup. And at the end of the game, we just had no game plan other than to give it to him. And then, we just panicked. Like, after we got down 2, like a minute 40 left, we started fouling. It was just awful.
Do you guys have because you guys both had Tennessee win? No. Yeah, one had Baylor, one had Tennessee winning it all, right?
Well, I had Tennessee at first.
He switched it because I
switched because Zach had it.
That's right. So. And you had Baylor. You changed it to Baylor?
Yeah, I have no idea why. Just because.
So now that both of them are out, do you guys have a favorite that you guys think will win it all after what we've seen already?
I kind of want to do this because this is part of my favorite game that I saw this past weekend. Yeah. I'm gonna go with, just for fun, North Carolina, just because they've been really fun to watch. And the only thing is, they can win it if they don't get in foul trouble, because they are not deep at all. Because their starters stay on the court the whole time. And in that Baylor game, after Brady Manick got ejected, that's when everything went like wild. Mm-hmm. But both games they've been shooting lights out. Like, Brady Manick's a bucket. RJ Davis and Caleb Love are either one of them.
Caleb Love has been shooting the heck out of the ball.
He didn't the last game.
Yeah.
But if both of them are they're you can't beat them. Like, I think Kenny Smith, because he went to North Carolina, he's a big big North Carolina fan. Obviously, he picked him to win it all, and he's like the one player who could be, if he's on, could be the best player in the tournament is Caleb Love, just because he's that like athletic and has the skill set. But they're pretty fun to watch.
You didn't even mention their actual star either, like their actual guy, Baycott.
Yeah, I like Baycott. I like the other guys more than Baycott, but yeah. I've always liked North Carolina basketball because they really emphasize rebounding and fast breaks and getting out on the run, which I think is the best time to get points, probably the easiest. Get the defense off guard, get an advantage like 3-on-2, 4-on-3. It's easier to get buckets, but I kind of hope they win it all. That'd be fun. But that Baylor North Carolina game I was texting you guys through it, and whenever North Carolina was up by I think they were 35 or 25.
25.
Yeah, 25.
I was like North Carolina champions, NCAA champions, and then Manick came out or got ejected, and then Baylor just was relentless, and they kept pressuring them, and they kept coming back, and I'm like, oh my god, that game was very fun.
Oh yeah.
But the refs on both sides were kind of bad. Calling, like, if you're a fan of either team, they were calling like a lot of stuff that shouldn't have been, or not calling it anything.
I feel like that's how the whole tournament's done, though.
Yes.
And also, that might be my did you see it? So I told you guys about this, but I didn't send you it. So I saw a video of North Carolina before that game rolling up in cowboy hats, and they were banging some Alan Jackson, Freight Train, and I love that song. I love Alan Jackson, and I was like, I'm rooting for North Carolina. I had Baylor winning, but I was like, I don't care. Like, I'll root for UNC. So yeah, I started watching that game, stopped watching it when the lead got big, and I actually went to the gym when there was probably like 15 minutes left, and I saw it was a 25-point game with 10 minutes left. I was like, all right, this is over. So I'm in the gym, and I just happened to check the scores on my phone. Or I saw it on the TV when I was walking in, and it was a 9-point game. And I thought the game was over. I'm like, all right, they kind of brought it back. And then I looked, and it was 3.5 minutes left, and it was a 9-point game. And I'm like, oh shoot, things could get interesting here. And then the next time I checked, I think it was a 2-point game with 40 seconds left. And then it was tied 80-80 with 20 seconds left. And I'm like, what is going on? So yeah, I just got kind of updates here and there, and was mind blown. So
yeah, one thing from this past weekend I've noticed or throughout this whole tournament, is there's been a lot of close games, and the seeds mean nothing, because all the 1 seeds really don't look like oh, they could easily walk and win it all. Like Kansas barely beat Creighton, and Creighton was without 2 starters. Gonzaga barely beat Memphis, who's super young. Arizona barely beat TCU, who I didn't know was going to be in the tournament until Selection Sunday. And then Baylor lost. So it's just, and Houston's been playing really good too out of nowhere. And I'm like, where'd they come from?
Yeah.
But we kind of talked about that even last week or the week before. There's so much.
Literally anyone could win
right now. Yeah, anyone. Any team that's left could win.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I love March Madness.
So St. Peter's is really interesting. My roommate showed this back with me the other day. The games they play, they foul so much that there's an average of 48 free throws per game, in their games, 24 fouls. And it's insane. They foul 25 times a game. Yeah, it's unreal. So.
Also, it's nice because this is the first March Madness since COVID. Well, crowds are back, so it makes watching that Baylor North Carolina game. It was just electric. That last 10 minutes, it was insane. It's just awesome.
Yeah. So North Carolina plays UCLA tomorrow. I do think they beat UCLA, even though that's the one game tomorrow that I'm really looking forward to seeing, because UCLA has been here last year in the Final Four. They have the same roster pretty much too. So
Johnny Juzang hasn't been playing that great though.
He hasn't. No, I think in the whole year he was coming into the season, he was up in the top 3 for
I think he got injured
early in the season.
Later in the season.
Oh, okay.
Maybe.
I think he's battling a knee injury.
Yeah, something.
I didn't.
I think their coach said, "I'm sure if he can walk, he'll play." I think that was the quote.
That's a sweet quote.
Yeah.
Tonight though, I have Duke beating Texas Tech, just because of the pure fact that Coach K, I think they find a way to beat Texas Tech, and Texas Tech is smaller, so I think Bankero will do well there.
Mark Williams, Clemson's smaller, and Mark Williams literally dunked every time he touched the ball, he dunked it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But also, real quick with Duke,
I
want Texas Tech to win, but also if Duke makes it to the Final Four and North Carolina make it to the Final Four, a Duke-North Carolina matchup in the Final Four would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then North Carolina beat Duke, and then Coach K's legacy's forever tarnished. No, okay.
I think the other game too, and I love Gonzaga, as you guys know. I don't know if everybody else knows that. I don't talk about them much throughout the regular season because, like we've mentioned, they just run through their conference.
That's why they do pretty good in the tournament. They're fresh.
Yeah. So I know they mentioned actually a couple days ago about maybe moving them to the Pac-12, which I think that would be a nice.
That'd be really good.
I think Arkansas pushes them tonight. Arkansas is really guard heavy. I think it's going to be really close. I mean, Memphis pushed them, and even the 16 seed.
Georgia State,
yeah.
Until the last 10 minutes.
And then
it was tied.
It was tied with 10 minutes left.
Yes, I was actually. I was starting to sweat a little bit.
I was watching that game in class, and there was 10 minutes left. It was tied, and then Gonzaga got up 5, I think, before I left class. On my drive home, I walk in, and the TV's on. One of my roommates is watching it. It's like a 20-point game. I'm like, what happened? He's like, oh, they just went on a 24-0 run. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they went crazy.
Sense.
Yeah. I think tonight the deciding factor will be, I think, Drew Timme, who's had a tremendous first 2 games. I think he's going to be pretty much unstoppable. Arkansas doesn't have really the big to match up well.
I think that Williams guy can match up good with Timme, but not Chet.
Yeah.
He needs I wish his parents didn't name him that. I don't like that name.
No, Chet had a tremendous first game, and then this last game against Jalen Duren for Memphis, he kind of slowed him down because he was more physical with him.
I like Nimhard
Dude, I love Andrew
because he
Nimhard.
played at Florida, and he's very unselfish, right?
Yes.
Because Gonzaga's had some point guards in the past who I've hated with the passion, like that Perkins.
Yeah,
hated him, and some other people I didn't like, but I like him. He's okay.
Nemhard is so like cool is the word I would say. He's so like if you watch him at like
Smooth.
end of game, so smooth, so like calm. Nothing really rattles him. So I have Gonzaga. Gonzaga, I still have to win it. I have them winning it all over Kansas. Kansas is another team that's tough.
Providence. I wanted to talk about Providence. They took care of South Dakota State, who's the best shooting team in the country. Only allowed them to score 57 points. Took care of Richmond, who was hot. They were like Providence and Miami were like the only games where it was really kind of like a blowout, I would say, as I'm kind of looking through the scores. Yeah. But I think they've played a ton of close games this year. So a lot of people don't think they're like
I'm one of those people.
You don't think they should be that good?
I didn't think I had them losing to South Dakota State.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
after they're like, yeah, they've played in so many close games. I think they're pretty like old. I'm not sure. But I think playing a lot of close games, I think, is really helpful. Like you just hang around and you can come out and win, which I think they could pose problems for Kansas. I'm excited to watch that game. I don't like Kansas, so go Providence.
A lot of people took the Providence like late game stuff, and including myself, as like they don't deserve some of those wins. But you could turn it the other way and say like they're tested late game situation type stuff.
Like they are in the Big East, who had a lot of teams in it, like Creighton,
UConn.
Can't see another team on here yet. Villanova.
Villanova, UConn, Seton Hall.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to spend too much time because we have a lot of other stuff to get to here. But next week we'll be covering Elite Eight, and then Final Four is next weekend. Is that correct?
Final Four and the championships next. Final Four Saturday, championships Monday.
Okay, so we'll make our picks for that and stuff. I know you're not a big NHL guy, but
yeah, I have nothing for NHL.
I have some stuff I have to get off here real quick. It was the trade deadline recently, and so Colin and I mentioned a few weeks now about guys that were going to be traded and stuff like that. So, 2 big names to start off: Ben Sherratt, which was a defenseman that the Blues were in conversations for. He went to the Panthers, which just bolsters them up. And then Claude Giroux, which is probably the biggest name at the deadline. He's like,
does he play for the Flames?
He was a Flyer.
Dang
it. Same color, so you're good there.
Who's the guy on the Flames who starts with the last name G? That's good.
Goudreau.
Yeah, that sounds
Hockey,
really similar.
Johnny Goudreau, yeah.
I was like, why would they trade him? They're pretty good.
No, yeah, and Goudreau's had a tremendous season. Claude Giroux was with the Flyers. The Flyers have been awful this year. The Panthers are my favorites to win it all, and this just adds to that. Their star defenseman Aaron Ekblad fractured his leg yesterday. So that really hurts, but Ben Sherratt popping right in really helps, even though he's more of a defensive guy. All they really gave up besides picks was a guy named Owen Tippett, which is like a young prospect up-and-coming guy. He's got like a mullet. He's a redhead, and I mean he's literally just mullet. Yes. I mean it's just like such a vibe.
I love it.
Another one was and I follow Toronto sports because I plan on moving to Canada in the next few years. But we'll get to that later. Mark Giordano and Colin Blackwell were traded there for 2 second-round picks in 2023 and a 3rd-round pick in 2024 from the Kraken. The Kraken kind of botched up this whole expansion team first year, so they could have gotten like for us they picked Vince Dunn
Shen. They picked Dunn.
Vince Dunn.
Yeah.
So they picked Vince Dunn from us. When they could have had Tarasenko. Tarasenko was available for them to pick, and Tarasenko's played very well this year for us. A little up and down recently, but they picked Dunn. They picked like a bunch of guys that were just like whatever guys, where they could have gotten like guys like Tarasenko, and even if they weren't going to be as good, traded him at the deadline and gotten stuff for it. So they're just getting picks now. Mark Giordano was their first captain ever. And he is actually from the Toronto area, so he went back home. He played his first game there last night, and they won. And Colin Blackwell is just like a 3rd line, 4th line guy. He played 4th line last night, and he's just like a energy guy. But the Leafs are really high in the standings that have Stanley Cup aspirations, even though they haven't gotten out of the first round in years and years. So it just helps add depth to them. The New York Rangers got Andrew Kopp from the Winnipeg Jets and Tyler Mott from the Vancouver Canucks. Really adds depth for them as well. That was like the really top heavy with a few guys. So that adds to that. The Minnesota Wild acquired Marc-Andre Fleury, future Hall of Fame goaltender from Chicago. Adds like a 1-2 punch with a guy named Cam Talbot, a goalie for them now. Max Domi, like on the very last second of the deadline, I was watching this like 4-hour like telecast of like the deadline, like
where like counts it down.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched it for MLB like every year.
Yes, exactly. So I watched that on NHL Network, and Max Domi, who's a very good player for Columbus, was traded to Carolina. Adds another star for Carolina. They've been tremendous all year. And then the last one was, I'll finish with the Blues one. There was other little ones, but nothing real huge. The Blues traded Oscar Sundqvist. Oscar was great here for what he did. Just kind of roughed up all the time. And then we also traded Jake Wallman, a young defenseman. Had potential, but he's like a 3rd pairing type of guy. I didn't see him doing much more than that. For Nick Leddy.
Is he good? Nick Leddy,
he's solid. He's not like a superstar or anything. I think he was on the 2nd pairing the other night, and there's 3 pairings. So I mean, I didn't get to see much of the game the other night. But I know he didn't do anything that was, we won 5-2, so he didn't do anything to hurt us. He's just a solid defenseman that we can have. And then we got a guy named Luke Witkowski. I believe that's how you pronounce it.
It's a sweet name.
Yeah. He's just a tough, rugged defenseman.
That's kind of what we need, right? Because
exactly.
We don't hit a lot of people.
No. If he plays, he'll be a 3rd pairing guy. That's
just
all I
go
had
out there and murder some people.
We have the toughness when it comes to like our forwards, but defensively, like protecting Benner and Husso, we need a little more protection there. And we won 5-2 the other night against the. Oh man, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Let me get it here real quick.
Panthers, Blackhawks, Flyers.
Keep it going.
Maple Leafs.
Capitals.
Dang, so close.
Yeah, so we beat the Capitals the other night, and the Capitals are out of the 8 playoff teams in the East, probably the latter part, like 7 or 8, but they're very good. The East is so stacked, and who knows who's coming out of there. But that's all I had NHL wise. I just wanted to give a rundown of the trade deadline. Games are still going on. There's like a 1/4 of the season left, so about 20 games left. It's exciting now because everybody knows their squad for the rest of the year. There's no change. There's no changing anything. You know who you got. So Blues are 2nd in the Central still, behind the Avs, who have just been dominating. And the last thing I'll say is, I do have the Panthers winning it all as of right now, and that's only because they've faced like trials throughout the season. They've had guys injured. They've had rough stretches where they've lost like 3 or 4 or whatever. and they're still number one. Colorado has literally not faced much at all, and they're just like breezing through. And I think that's going to come up and hurt them. You know, playoff hockey playoffs are different in every sport, but playoff hockey is probably the most different than the regular season. It's a whole different type of game. The game now is so focused on speed and agility.
Yeah.
When it comes to playoff hockey, they close off everything. And there's so many games nowadays that are, I mean, everybody thinks hockey game, 2 or 3 goals, wins it. There are so many games this year that have been 6 or 7. I mean, Florida scores 4.5 goals a game.
That's crazy.
Unreal. But playoff time, everything closes off so much. They close the blue line. It's hard to get enter into the zone. So, yeah, it's really a toss up though. Tampa Bay Lightning have won it last 2 years. They literally could win a third one in a row. They're that good. The East is much better than the West, and we're in the West. But who knows? I mean, nobody expected us to win it 3 years ago now, but we ended up doing it. But we can move on to NBA. We'll talk more NHL.
The National Basketball Association.
Yes, sir. And I think this is the last sport we have for today. I just literally put that there's 10 games left. So I put a couple things. Yeah. So I put a couple things we need to look at coming up here. First of all, the East is extremely competitive and tight still. I don't know if you saw last night, Jimmy Butler. And, they got in a huge, like, not physical fight, but verbal altercation.
It was about their dinner plan, so it was nothing to worry about.
I saw Fulstra say that. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, Udonis Haslem, who's been there literally forever.
Probably has not played a game for like the last 6 years, but is on the roster.
Yeah, he's just like a mentor guy, which kind of speaks to probably how much of a impact he has if they're gonna waste a roster spot.
Yeah, for real.
Rather than just making him an assistant or something. But Jimmy's kind of a fiery guy anyway. But I've never seen Spoelstra react like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I read his lips and he said, just run the play. So I don't know exactly. Now, again, Spoelstra really played it off, like you said in the post conference. Like we were just wondering where we were going to dinner or whatever, which I thought was hilarious. But at the beginning of the year, I picked the Celtics to be second in the East. They started off terribly, and then Jason Tatum has literally gone off these last probably month.
He's from St. Louis, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah. For those, they didn't know that. Jaylen Brown has played really well. Marcus Smart has played well. Good role guys off the bench like Grant Williams, Aaron Nesmith. So they're rising. Milwaukee's obviously up there. You can't count out Philly. I don't like Philly. I don't like Philly anything, but Embiid and Harden. I mean, you can't count neither one. He's been playing really well. So yeah, you can't count them out. Again, Harden and Embiid have never won a thing. But they're obviously otherworldly talents, so can't count them out. Who else is over there? Toronto. I mean, Toronto's not going to make a push for a conference final or anything, but I watched them live over spring break. Man, they're fun, man. Like the way they play, just like 3 or 4 guys that are like 6'8", 6'9", and just like long and athletic. Yeah. They can switch every ball. I mean, the game is so much with ball screens now. They switch every ball screen, and they can defend so well. So it was really fun watching them in person. They won't make a push, I don't think yet. But I mean, they have young talent. Scotty Barnes.
What do you think about the Bulls? I don't think the Bulls are gonna. I think the Bulls will be competitive in the playoffs, but I don't know if it's still if they haven't beat like a top team yet, because I don't think they're gonna make a run. Maybe win one round.
Yeah, that's the one thing all year they have played really. I don't have the stat, but they've played really poorly against like over 500 teams that are above them in the conference, and they were like the top seed, maybe even halfway through the season, and then they've really fallen off now, and they're like the 5 seed, but they're only 5 games out of the first spot.
I got you.
Yeah, Cavaliers are the 6th. and then Toronto, and then I mean Brooklyn's there, and I think they just uplifted the mandate.
Yeah, Brooklyn's scary. If you're a top
So,
seed,
I
and
mean,
it's like you have to like
geez.
play Brooklyn like right off, like if they should win the play-in. I know they
Mhm.
could probably make a push to not be in the play-in. I don't know how many games back they are, so I have no idea. But
So they right off the top of my head, they are one behind Toronto for the 7 spot, and then 2
mhm,
behind the Cavs for the 6 seed to avoid the play-in. That's why I'm really hoping Toronto can get that 6 spot.
yeah,
Cavs lost Jared Allen, and they've really struggled defensively since that happened.
how
Even
is
with
he out
Mo,
for the season?
I don't know for the season, but as of right now, I mean he's been out for a couple weeks, and
Okay,
he broke his finger, I believe, or a bone in his hand or something.
mm,
Um, so defensively, they've really struggled, and they've really fallen. They were a top 3 seed, and now they're a 6 seed. And actually, Toronto plays them tonight, and if they win, we're in the 6th spot now. So you want to avoid, because 7 plays 8 and 9 plays 10. You really want to avoid Brooklyn.
yes,
So
yes,
so hopefully Toronto can avoid that. But it's like I said, it's really a toss up. Giannis could
yeah.
take over and carry them to another title. Embiid and Harden could go crazy. Um,
The
I
Heat are
don't know.
just so deep. They're just
They
deep
really
and they play
are.
defense.
They're really tough defensively.
And
Yeah.
they have solid guys to score. Like I haven't really seen how Oladipo's played but like I know he's back and he's can come off the bench, and Hero just comes off the bench and scores. They're I kind of like their team just the way they play.
Yeah.
But how have the Hawks been doing? Are they even in the plan?
They're in the play-in.
Are they the 10 seed?
They're the 10 or the 9. I can get it here really quick.
Because like
Hornets are right there too.
they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right?
Yes, they've really underperformed. um, they are currently the 10, and they're 11 games back, and then Charlotte is the 9, and they're 10 games back, and then Brooklyn's 9 games back at the 8. So they're like all really just right there, and then outside the play-in, New York and Washington, they're 16 back. So we know who's going to be
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
The Knicks really underperformed this year.
Really, yeah. RJ Barrett, Toronto native. Um, he had a couple 30-point games in a row here, so he's been playing well. But Julius Randle, that whole situation, I don't know if you've followed that, just like not getting along with fans, and who was it? Baez in New York in the MLB where he like gave the thumbs down to fans. Like Randall did that to the Knicks. And it's Knicks fans, like they're very passionate.
Yes, it's New York fans.
So,
They
yes.
If you play good, they love you. If you don't play good, they will let you know.
Exactly. So that whole situation, I don't think he'll be there next year. Now that I have it up, so yeah, Miami, Philly, Milwaukee, Boston, Chicago, Cleveland, Toronto, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Hawks. So we covered all that. The West is a little more open.
Top heavy.
Yes, it's very top heavy. The only thing with that is Chris Paul is hurt. And he's been hurt.
Chris Paul has the worst luck getting hurt.
I know.
It's always during the most improper. Like maybe you should like sit out the first half of the seasons and just play the second half or something.
Yeah. He'll be back come playoff time, and they've been like, they're just a wagon. I mean, they've been playing well without him. I do think it will hurt playoff time if he doesn't. If
Oh
he's not
yeah,
able to
absolutely.
play. Yes. And the big one, like the big one, is Steph Curry's out for the rest of the regular season. He was like running after a ball, loose ball, and Marcus Smart came up behind him. Not dirty at all.
He just dove for the ball. He just out hustled him.
Yeah, and he just clipped his like.
I was so mad that Steve Kerr was mad at that. I'm like, so you're basically not encouraging playing hard. I'm not. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Steve Kerr. Mm-hmm. I think he got put into a very good situation with the Warriors.
Yeah, I do too. They lost 94-90 the other night to the Magic, which is like the worst team in basketball. They did win last night against the Heat. The Heat, these last couple have been kind of iffy, but no, if Curry again, they said he's going to be back come playoff time. If he's not, then they're in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
And same thing with Chris Paul. So, and then the Grizzlies are just continuing to play. And usually I say like playoffs are different, even for basketball. I mentioned it for hockey. Playoffs like a different atmosphere. The Grizzlies, I want to believe that it's gonna affect them come playoff time because it's just a different type of basketball,
Mm-hmm.
more intense. But they're just like so young and like don't think like they just kind of just play, you know? Like
Yeah, they
I
play
don't,
loose,
yeah,
loosey
very
goosey.
loose. Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna affect them that much. I think they're just gonna just fly and I don't know. I think they could make a run to the finals. Like I
They're
think they're
exciting to watch.
yeah. Um especially again, Jaw's hurt right now. So if Jaw's healthy, so yeah. Um let's see here. Another thing to watch is the rookie of the year race. I think it's between two people. I know Cade Cunningham is in the race as well, but I would put it between Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley. I obviously would lean towards Scotty Barnes, but if somebody told me Evan Mobley, I would not be
What
against that
about
whatsoever.
Franz Wagner?
I have him on fantasy, and the dude's been really good. So I would not. He would be up there too. He'd probably be my fourth. I know Cade puts up some crazy numbers, and
He's been playing
nobody
good
here is.
recently.
Yeah.
I think
No,
Jalen Green's been playing good lately, right?
he's picked it up lately. Yeah, he had a rough start to the season, like shooting percentage wise.
Yeah.
But he's been a lot more efficient lately.
Who's the 4 seed in the West?
The 4 seed
The
is
Mavs.
the Jazz. Jazz and Mavs are tied for the 4th spot. Yeah,
The Mavs have been playing really good lately.
they really have. And
Who would have thought when we both were like, why would you get rid of Porzingis? Maybe that was what they needed. Spencer
Seriously,
Dinwiddie's been amazing.
He really
They just played with like 3 guards, him, Brunson, and Doncic.
Luka. Yeah. Luka's definitely got to be in the MVP talks. He's putting up crazy numbers and he's carrying that team. The 5 spot would be Utah or Dallas, whoever the other one is. 6 is Denver. 7 is Minnesota. Minnesota's really performed. I thought they would be good maybe next year.
They have good players.
They do. They're just young. Clippers 8, Lakers 9, and Pelicans 10. And then after that,
isn't it kind of tight, like with the plan?
Very tight. Lakers are 28 back, Pelicans 28.5, so they're right there. And then Clippers are 23.5, and Minnesota 17.5. So yeah, it's all real tight. Minnesota's like really surprised me though.
Hello to all my fans.
What's going on? What's going on, Kaylee?
Just got back after a long, hard day teaching the youth here in Springfield, Missouri.
Hey, you caught us before we wrapped it up here because we only had a little bit left.
Were you guys trying to get done before I got home from work? Is that's
that was exactly the plan.
Yeah, Conlon had to leave us like I don't know.
He had like a novels class to go to.
Yeah.
Well, happy to see you, AJ. You're looking
Yeah,
well.
it's good seeing you. Yeah. I got your guys's invitation in the mail.
Oh, the save the day?
Oh, wait, you got one?
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't supposed to send him one, right? No, kidding.
No, you guys, I'm really excited for you guys. And
me and Zach's mom had the hardest time remembering your parents' name.
Oh, Bob and Patty?
Yeah, well, I knew it was Bob. And then I was like, I feel like it starts with a P.
Yeah.
Like P. But we figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun.
Same. I put it down on my calendar, so I'll be there.
Yeah, I've just been forgetting to put it on mine still. I'm kidding.
Well, I'll let you finish up. Zach's going to pay me whatever proceeds you guys make from this podcast for using my Wi-Fi in my room. So,
alrighty. Good seeing you.
Pass it back to him. Bye, AJ.
We only had 2 more here that I wanted to mention. The scoring title.
Let me guess. Oh, never mind. I thought you were going to be 2 more teams. I was like, what do you? Let me just guess. The Lakers.
Oh, no. The scoring title race though is extremely tight. So Giannis is averaging 29.7 a game. Joel Embiid is averaging 29.8.
Weren't they all tied until like the LeBron's last game?
Yes, against Toronto. He went nuts against Toronto. He's averaging 30 a game now. And then Embiid, Giannis, LeBron, they're like all right there. So that's something to watch. And then lastly, the MVP race. I had like 3 names that I was talking about all year. Now I have like 8. So Joel Embiid's got to be up there, and Jokic has got to be up there. Giannis, DeMar DeRozan still probably not as high as the others. John Morant's got to be up there. I didn't put Luka, but yeah, Luka's got to be up there. And then my like sleeper that's I think he should at least get some votes is Jason Tatum. Like he's really done well in Boston. Probably his best year yet. And he's still only like 25.
You're probably gonna be shocked what I'm about to say, but there's another player should get the votes if their team wasn't a 9 seed in the play-in, and that's LeBron.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Look at that. You have finally said a good thing about LeBron. Now
No,
stop
I've
here.
never said anything about he's a bad player. I just don't like him as a person.
Yeah. Now, yeah, he's having a tremendous year. And honestly, Russ has played really well lately. So I've mentioned it many times. I'm very optimistic. So they've played well lately. Last night, the role guys played really well. LeBron and AD were both out. He's dealing with this knee fluid that they're trying to drain out of his knee.
The old knee fluid. It'll get you.
Yes, the old knee fluid. Yeah. But AD should be back in a week or 2. Hopefully by the play-in, they'll have to win 2 games in the play-in. But healthy LeBron, healthy AD. Russ playing like he is right now. He's playing a whole lot better. Role guys are really starting to fill. Last night they were without LeBron and AD, and they faced the Sixers with a healthy Harden, Maxey, and Embiid, and they lost by 4. So they played really well last night. Stanley Johnson's played well. Wenyen Gabriel, they literally signed him out of the buyout market.
I think he was the guy. You remember when I was telling you I went to the SEC tournament and some guy from Kentucky hit like 7 threes in a row? I think it was Wayne Gabriel.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I remember like because that was such a crazy thing that he hit that many in a row.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, the other night he was 7 for 7 from the field in the first quarter.
It's his lucky number.
Seriously. So he's playing really well defensively. Dwight Howard had 24 and 9 last night, which is kind of like he was honestly cooking Embiid a little bit in the low post.
I think their one team they should worry about in the play-on is the Timberwolves.
Yes.
I just think they have the guys who can score along with like the guys who can score, and you have Patrick Beverly who just he's not really like a great player. He's kind of like Marcus Smart. He just plays with a lot of intensity, and he just annoys the heck out of you because he's so cocky.
Oh yeah. The Lakers score with like the best of them. Like the Lakers score a lot. Defensively is the problem, and Dwight Howard had a great game last night, but he's not obviously who he was. Carmelo Anthony is, for what Carmelo is off the bench now, I have no problem with Carmelo. He's very bad defensively, but offensively he's getting.
I don't think he's ever been good at defense.
No. I mean, the dude's really bad though now. I mean, just like noticeably bad. But LeBron can still, sit in the stands when he needs to. Russ is really, his energy has picked up. DJ Augustine was another buyout guy that they got from Orlando. He shot 7 for 7 the other night as well and was 6 for 6 from 3. So, I mean, he's been playing well.
He's been solid his whole career.
He really has. And they needed like some more shooting. They score a lot, but shooting has struggled. Malik Monk's been good. Austin Reeves has been good. There's been a kind of just up and down season with more downs than ups. But defensively, if Anthony Davis, like what I was saying was, they're playing LeBron at the 5 so much. And even though I'm super high on LeBron, and I think he's fantastic and literally has no weakness on the floor.
You would marry him if you proposed to.
Yeah. At some point, like if you play like a Karl Anthony Towns or Joel Embiid, it's like he can't do anything about it. They have 5 inches on him. Like strength wise, he
like
can
even
compare,
Giannis. Like Giannis is a little shorter, but like he holds up his arm, making like
exactly
like insane.
So they need Anthony Davis for rim protection more than anything. LeBron's in a groove right now, though. He's shooting really at a high clip. So hopefully They play the Pelicans on Sunday. That's a big one because that's like who they're fighting for home
yeah.
court advantage to wrap it up there. But that's all I had, unless you had anything else.
That's all I got. This was a longer episode than usual, but there's a lot of stuff going around. It's the best time of the year, March Madness, MLB about to pick up, and NBA and NHL.
A lot of moves. And,
Yeah, season or no, NBA and NHL. The season's coming to an end, and it's NFL. Everyone in America loves NFL, so they always have to be around all year round. So
yeah,
great
And
time to be a sports fan.
I haven't mentioned this yet, but we're gonna split these episodes up into
The YouTube episodes,
not the Spotify.
not the Spotify.
YouTube's gonna be a couple episodes, and we're gonna put out a couple a week. I don't know, just gets us more. I don't know how to say it. Instead of just coming out, everybody waiting for one a week and it just being a super long episode, we're gonna mix and match a couple sports and just you can watch it a lot quicker and more efficiently, I guess. Next week we do have, I mentioned it like 3 weeks ago, but next week we do have the interview with my teammate from France, Tom.
Sweet.
I talked to him and he is available next week, so we'll interview him next week, and that'll be part of the episode then. But besides that, that's all I have for this week.
Sweet. Yeah, same. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep, sounds good.